New Zealand, life in New Zealand, green, clean, lovely New Zealand. But how does this country manage to stay the way it is? Got our little chairs, me and Briii, I've got my book, Brii's got his Kindle, and we're just there for the day. And all of a sudden, we just hear this voice going, "Oi, get out of there!" Don't we, Briii? In this week's episode, we're going to share with you some everyday life in New Zealand and let you know exactly what life down under is really like. It's a Drama, coming to you from Taranaki, New Zealand.
Hello.
Daddy, I love him!
Mother thanks you.
Right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
Hello and welcome to the It's a Drama podcast. I'm Liz.
And I'm Brian.
And today we are back with some great stuff to share with you about life in New Zealand. Today we're going to be sharing 5 points with you. We're going to share some gossip, obviously. You want to know what's been going on in the local area. We're going to share with you freedom camping, whether New Zealand is the clean, green country that it promotes itself to be and why. We're talking about fish and chips.
Yep.
And lastly, we just want to share this fabulous comment that we had sent to us on YouTube. And yeah, I just want to share that at the end of the show. So got some really good stuff for you.
I think so. We did say Kiwi kindness, didn't we?
Oh, did I? Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And some Kiwi kindness. That's
yes.
it, yeah.
From our Slack group, that community that we have.
Yeah.
We have a channel that's called Kiwi Kindness, and it's just great to share a few things that people moving over here think about Kiwi kindness.
If you're new to the channel, we are Liz and Brian, husband and wife. We emigrated to New Zealand from the UK almost 14 years ago now. We live in Taranaki, New Plymouth, just outside, and we share content about travel, life in New Zealand, moving to New Zealand. We're just a bit sad and bored, really, and we just get together every week and just talk about stuff, don't we, Brian?
Try and get outside in the Kiwi outdoors as well. Yeah.
And today we've brought you, to the Moanga to just show you Mount Taranaki, because I know that we haven't done this for quite a while. We've always done the other view, or we sit outside in the garden.
Yeah, we're actually doing a podcast in the morning.
I know.
Yeah, not so. We have to kind of follow the sun around under the umbrella. So
and it's so typical, because this morning the mountain was just in its full glory, and we were like, oh yeah, let's go and sit on the deck and record a podcast, and we had it all pictured in our minds that it was just going to be, and then all of a sudden it's like it gets really moody, and it's just like no, not in the mood. So all the cloud has just gathered around it. But
that cone just causes that little bit of low pressure to form cloud, whichever way the wind's going from, so it just sits there. But, hey.
So how are you? We've missed you. I mean, it's just so lovely to just be sitting back in our garden in New Zealand, just chatting to you about, chewing the fat about life in New Zealand.
Yeah.
We think the world of you, we do, and just thank you for being here and joining us for this little chat. So
I think we've got to go down to the cafe, haven't we?
Yeah, let's just fill you in on the first bit of the gossip.
Gossip this morning.
Yeah. So, we go down to the cafe. We've got a local cafe down in the village there. For those of you who are not familiar with mine and Brian's routine, it's very sad. All we do is we go to Foursquare, get a bit of shopping, go over the road to the cafe, go to the beach with the dog, and then come home and make videos for you. That's it, really. That's our life in a nutshell, isn't it, Brian?
Every day.
But it's great because when we go down to the cafe, we're immersed in Kiwi life, and we find out all this good stuff.
Huge big ears so we can turn around and hear everybody and eavesdrop.
But the thing that's been going on this week is down in the village, in the cafe that we go to, there's a row of shops. So you've got a beautician's.
Yep.
Is that what it's called?
It's a beautician's, you can call it that.
A cafe that we love, absolutely adore. And next door, there's this shop that it can't seem to quite get it right. It's always a bit vacant.
It's been a barber's. It's been it's like a gift type shop, or local artists over the Christmas period. They put all the stuff in like a pop-up shop. It sells clothes and things and ornaments and all sorts of different things, don't they? And then then it's empty for 6 months.
Yeah, I think personally we've heard talk that the rent is too high. There is an Aucklander, got the rich Aucklander, got the place down here, asking too much rent, and locals can't afford it. That's the sort of vibe we're getting. We don't know that for sure, so don't take that for gospel.
Yeah, it might be a local person who's been to Auckland once, so we'll call them an Aucklander.
This is what me and Briii think it is.
Yeah.
No, actually, we have heard people say that. And like Briii said, this summer they had the most glorious little pop-up shop selling all local artwork, like
It was
wooden
really nice, wasn't it? Yeah.
ornaments.
Because down in the village is quite an arty village.
It
isn't
is very arty.
There's local artists.
That's
and
why we
things
live
and-
there.
Yeah.
We're very arty.
obviously. Yes.
But yeah, and I just thought, oh, wouldn't it be gorgeous if this could just stay, you know, like painting. No, not empty.
Just so we can put our table outside there when it's a bit windy.
Yeah, when it's so true, isn't it? We shouldn't say that.
I know.
But because it's empty all the time, we just drag our table and chairs to meet whatever the weather's doing. So if it's a bit windy, we just pull it out into the, you know.
We are
in
Kiwi
front of the
because
mailbox.
actually we stay out more than the Kiwis.
We've never been inside that
No,
cafe.
we never go in there. Well, we do it if it's really bad or we're having a meeting there or something about something.
When was the last time you went in that cafe?
Before we went travelling, so probably 8 months ago, sat inside. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We do. We sit outside a lot. Anyway, so this shop has been this pop-up shop and everyone was like, oh, wouldn't it be great? And then they put a little sign on the door saying, on the 8th of January, we're out. You know, we're going back to work.
Yeah.
We can't afford, you know, we're not staying here, which is, like I say, real shame because it's lovely to see. This morning, the talk of the village is fish and chip shop are moving in, aren't they? Next door, the fish and chip shop.
Fish and chip shop next to a cafe and a beautician.
And the beautician. Now, this isn't going down well because you don't want to be going for a lovely beauty treatment, nice massage, uranium oil on your face, just sit and relax. Here's a scented candle, and all you're smelling is the waft of chip fat.
Of fish.
Yeah, exactly.
Fish being chopped up, and then a bit later on. Yeah, it's not a great smell, is it, to go with the beauticians?
So we were having this conversation, me and Briii, this morning. We got well into this, me and Briii, because obviously this is a very important topic.
Yeah.
Well, for one, it's what are they doing thinking about a fish and chip shop next to a cafe, Briii? We've already got our food.
Just literally 150 metres up the road, there's a fish and chip shop.
Yeah, but I think they're closing. I don't know that
We
for
don't
sure.
know yet, that's the thing.
And if they're not, is it too much to have 2 fish and chip shops in such a small village?
Yeah, because over the road where Foursquare is, they sell chicken and chips.
Exactly. Now, what's Foursquare going to say about that now?
Yeah,
Because
what's going to happen?
yeah, exactly. It's a disaster because it really is. I mean, people are like, you know, they're wringing their hands with grief because it's a very important topic.
We'll be moving.
Yeah. But as Briii said, chicken and chips are sold in Foursquare.
Yeah.
By the way, I wanted to just point this out. If you're moving to New Zealand and you have no idea what Foursquare is, Foursquare is like...
It's like a big 7-Eleven. It's like a Spar shop or a Mace or a local Tesco type thing.
oh, no, it's not as big as Tesco.
No, when I say like a Tesco Metro or a local Tesco, not like a big supermarket. It's just, it's a supermarket, but it's small.
Even
it's
more
a local
confused.
convenience store.
Yeah.
There we go.
But even more confusing is they call it a dairy. So that's mind-blowing. It's just like, what?
There is just milk churns out the back and the guy brings his
Milkmaids.
farmer up and, you know.
Anyway, in the last 14 years, I'm going off on a little bit of a tangent here, but in the last 14 years, Foursquare, certainly where we live in Okura, Taranaki, it's gone brilliant, hasn't it, Briii? It used to be really rubbish.
It was never great, was it?
No.
It was.
And now, you've got to admit, it's like, well, either that or we've just lowered our standards.
I know, but
It's good.
But the second disaster in the village is that the local Foursquare has stopped selling scoop ice cream.
Can't believe that.
That's bad, isn't it?
That-
You know?
What?
They used to do carpety and
They've
they
gone all
did
posh, haven't they, Brian?
Tip top. And now it's just a bank of freezers
Yeah.
with
You weren't very happy when we went
pre-wrapped
in
stuff,
there.
like, you know,
Yeah.
it's just like, I mean, I can't eat the cones anyway, but I used to love...
Gluten-free.
Yeah, I used to love going in there with the kids and getting a kiddie cone or a, 2 scoops or something like that.
You were a bit dramatic though the other day when we walked in. It was boiling hot. It's a gorgeous summer here in New Zealand. Well, certainly in Taranaki. I know.
today.
No, it's been lovely. It's been gorgeous, hasn't it, Briii?
Yes, it has. Yeah. To be honest, it's. I mean, the rest of the country has been hit by that summer storm, the cyclone.
Yeah.
But we just kind of
There's nowhere in the world nicer than New Zealand in the sun.
No,
there
I
really,
don't think there is.
really isn't.
It's,
It
that,
just
that
isn't.
clarity of light is
Yeah.
just like wow. It's amazing.
But what makes up New Zealand is what's the word? You know, when a classic New Zealand thing, a classic Kiwi thing, is the Kiwi ice cream, the scoop ice cream.
Yeah.
So when we walked in the other day, boiling hot, we'd just been down the beach. We're going to tell you about that in a minute. Just been down the beach. We said, oh, I know, let's go and get an ice cream. Let's go to posh Foursquare and get an ice cream. And we walked in And Bri's like this. He's looking around. Where's the scoops? Didn't you?
Yeah.
And you were a bit dramatic though.
But it is because I just wanted a tub of ice cream to take out with me. I didn't want a pre-made one in the.
You wanted a little scoop in a box.
Yeah, a huge box, like a KFC bucket.
Yeah. So they've stopped it. But what they do in there now is chicken and chips, and they don't do fish and chips, do they?
Yeah.
So what are they going to do when literally over the road
is a chippy? Yeah.
Because we sit in that cafe and watch all the tradies. They come in the morning, don't they, Bri? 10 o'clock, come and get their chicken and chips.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how it's just blowing my mind because what's the beautician going to do? And what are we going to do when we can't sit in front of a fish and chip shop?
She was saying they're obviously going to have an extractor and it's going to be blowing all over the place in that area. And you can't get rid of that type of smell, can you?
No.
You know?
While I'm on it, big shout out to the beauticians. I'm sorry, I don't know the name, but big shout out to the
Rock Beauty it is.
Oh, is it Rock Beauty?
ROC, isn't it?
No, I think that's a brand, Bri. I think that's a brand.
No, I don't think it. I think it's something like that.
Anyway, down in Orcuda, my daughter just went down there last week, had her eyelashes done. She was raving about it. So
better than going into town.
Yeah, and we don't. Yeah,
that's keeping it local.
And we just don't want them to have to think about,
Do you know what the best thing they could put in that place is a proper Kiwi ice cream parlour? Do you know? That would be a great idea, wouldn't it? 'Cause it would just be busy from 3 o'clock onwards when all the cafe closes and everything else, and it's just you would only have to work 4 or 5 hours a day.
And why don't they do? I know what they could do. They could do like one of those real, like they have loads of them in the South Island. Pardon? No, I was going to say like a real fruit ice cream place.
Yeah, that would go storm.
You should go down and tell them.
There you go.
But the only thing is, I've just heard that they've leased it before Christmas, and you're not going to be able to afford that, are you, Bri? Oh, you're too busy to be down there scooping your fruit out.
Yeah.
Scooping your cherries out.
Get me fruit out for you.
Anyway, so that's that. I'll
drink some more tea now.
The next thing we wanted to talk to you about was Kiwi kindness.
Is it? I thought it was freedom campaign.
No, I'm doing that in a minute. I'm going to tell them about that in a minute. I just want to say about the Kiwi kindness.
Right, okay.
Just leave the the writing stuff to me. Kiwi kindness. So we have got a private membership group that helps people move to New Zealand. Actually, it supports people who are moving to New Zealand. Give you a little bit of a backstory. 14 years ago, when me and Briii moved to New Zealand, there was nothing. There was nothing on the internet. There was no. I mean, you were lucky if you could find the odd. Was even YouTube the thing then, or was it? Not, it was, but it wasn't.
Of course it was, yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't like it is now.
Not like it is now.
Didn't have brilliant people like me and you sitting here talking about a chip shop.
I don't even know whether Google had bought it by then.
So we moved over, and quite honestly, it was tough. It was really hard. It was lonely, especially for me because I wasn't working. We didn't know what we were coming to. We had all these questions, and to cut a long story short, we said if we ever get to New Zealand and we're settled, one day we're going to make this community. We're going to make this thing. We didn't know what it was, but we're going to make this thing that supports people and helps people when they're moving to New Zealand. And that is what we've done. So we've got this community. It's fabulous. And within this community is a Slack group with all different channels on it. Like, what things cost.
Yeah, healthcare jobs, healthcare workers, and all sorts of things like that. We've got vehicles, we've got housing, we've got renting, we've got visa applications, we've got an immigration specialist on board with us. Yeah. So, yeah. And it's growing all the time.
It is, yeah. And one of the channels, we've got like, one of the channels is called Kiwi Kindness. And it's for people who are already here sharing stories of Kiwi kindness, to inspire other people and to know that all this work that they're coming to a fabulous place. So in this channel, people write how people have been kind to them. Now we've got Tanya, who lives where does she live?
I believe she lives in Timaru down in the South Island.
Yeah.
Yep.
And she wrote a post the other day and she said, they've just moved with their teenage kids from England. And she said the neighbour has got a boat.
Just a little, I can't remember the name of it here, like a little tinny type thing with a motor on the back.
Yeah.
Like a fishing boat type thing.
And they came and knocked on her door and said, don't know her from Adam, they're just neighbours. Came and knocked on her door and said, do you and the kids want to come out on the lake for the day? Kids can go on the Seabiscuit. Yeah. And she said that they spent 6 hours just blasting around on this person's boat, going on the Seabiscuit.
Yeah. And they didn't know what a Seabiscuit was. You think, what's a Seabiscuit? But, the Seabiscuit or donut or, like the sausage one that you sort of sit
How nice is that?
behind each other.
And she just said, you know, it just wouldn't happen. It just wouldn't happen in England. And I don't think it would. If you knew them and you were really good friends.
Yeah, exactly. That's different though. 'Cause then that's your friends, and that's not just people who live next door to you.
Yeah.
And seeing that you've got kids and thinking, you know, what a great day out for everybody.
Yeah. I'll tell you about how to sign up for that. I'll tell you more about that membership in a minute, but I just want to ask Briii this question. Don't let me forget.
Yep.
Briii, we've got a boat, haven't we?
Yep.
Would you ever consider just going, right, okay, pretend they weren't our neighbours,
Yep.
just driving randomly into town, into New Plymouth,
Yeah.
going and knocking on someone's door. You saw a trampoline in their garden, so you knew they had kids, right? Just go in, pulling your boat up on the side of the curb there, knocking on the door. Hey, mate, fancy coming out for a day on a biscuit? Would you do that, Briii?
Do you know what? This day and age, they'd probably think you're a weirdo.
Would they?
Yeah, and it's
Oh,
a shame.
don't say that.
I know, but it's a shame, isn't it? Like, you know, if you've got kids yourself, our
Why
kids
would
are...
they think that? Why are you saying
Well,
that?
it's just because you like, you know, we like to come out with your kids and everything, like, you know.
Do you
so-
look on yourself as a weirdo, Briii?
Yeah.
Is that the problem here? Is this something you want to share?
It's a deep down secret. I'm a weirdo.
No, but I just
No,
think
I agree. Well, we used to have Jenna and Caleb.
we used to take
live
our
next
kids.
door, didn't they?
Yeah.
Like, you know, and you know, we would take them out and things like that, and
Yeah.
vice versa. They had what they call jet skis type thing.
Yeah.
Why is it you do? You probably, I don't know. I might be able to take it out with filters and things, but you know, you can actually do a video, and then all this work starts happening next door. You know, he's grinding something by the sound of it. Anyway.
You know, we're just talking about Kiwi kindness
Yeah.
and how neighbours are really nice to each other.
Yeah.
It's nice that he's doing that work
Yeah,
over
it
there,
seems
isn't
lovely,
it,
that
Briii?
guy over the way there. I don't
Yeah,
know whether
and he
it's the
is very
farmer or it's the
lovely.
neighbour.
Well, it doesn't matter.
yeah,
It's
anyway.
a lovely day and he's doing work on his land. And who cares if we can hear a little bit of mulching or...
Yeah, that's an angle grinder.
Is it?
Yeah. Grinding some steel.
Anyway, I just wanted to share this story with you. Because when she said about this, and she said about, Tanya said about these neighbours and, you know, being really nice, taking them out on the sea biscuit, I thought, oh, that's really nice, that. And it got me thinking about all the neighbours we'd had in the past. And, you know, whether we got on with it. Obviously, we're very friendly people. We never mind when people make a noise next to us.
No.
And it just reminded me of this story that I wanted to share with you. It's not a long story, but it was just when we were back living in Bath in England, there was a time in our life that we did property development and bought and sold a couple of properties. And we bought one of these properties that we bought was Eastbourne Avenue, wasn't it? So what era was that? Is it Georgian or Victorian? Or what?
It was all Victorian.
Was it
Victorian?
Victorian?
Yeah, Victorian, yeah.
It was a lovely Victorian terrace house that needed work doing to it. And it was just when Bath market prices were... Bath, in case you don't know, is a very, very posh city in England.
Yep. Yeah.
And it was just... We got in there just at the right time and prices were just going up, weren't they, Briii?
Yeah, they were.
And we bought this property and it was it was, you know, bay window, fireplaces, needed loads of work. And the garden at the back was long and skinny with two low wooden fences on either side.
You used to have to walk down steps into like a yard area, then up steps again back into a small garden. It was tiny. Well, it was just soil, wasn't it? It was pretty gross.
So we knew what we could do with the place. And upstairs at the back, it had 3 bedrooms. And the most beautiful bedroom was the one at the back that overlooked our garden, next door's garden, and out towards the fields in Bath. We knew what we were going to do with the property. We said, oh yeah, we can just paint it magnolia and, you know, put some candles in, throw a few coffee beans in the oven.
Get some reed mats on the floor.
Yeah.
That was the thing at the time.
That was the thing. But not being gardeners, especially not back then, we had no idea what to do with this long, skinny garden in this property. So I had a friend who did garden design and we said, you know, I don't suppose you'd come over and just give us some tips, would you? She was called Hilary, I think, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was lovely.
Yeah, she was lovely. And she came over and she just was so brilliant. She drew out all these plans. She's like, you can have a raised planter here. You could have a little tiny bit of deck going here. You can have, you know, another raised planter. She just designed this garden. You know, when you look at something,
She
you're
sketched
like,
it out, didn't she? And it was just a brilliant sketch. And you kind of like walked out like this instead of just walking straight out. It was great. It was a little tree, like you say, a little raised, lots of work for me to do.
Yeah, it was lots of work for you to do, but she gave us the idea though, didn't she?
Yeah.
And we were like, oh my God, is that what it could look like? And she's like, you could make this look so classy. Classy was the word she used. You could make this look so classy. You also need to know that back then, what year was it? Before 2000, or round about 2000.
Right. No, it was about 2003.
Right.
It would have been.
Back then, especially in posh places like Bath, decks were not the thing.
Yes.
Brits
Or ducks.
people from Bath are snobby. I'm telling you that. And they don't like, if they think, oh my, deck. Well,
No,
that's
you have to have a patio.
Yeah, you have to have a patio. That's where.
Yes, good grief. No conservatory,
Gravel.
just patio.
Yes.
Going off the drawing room.
Yeah, so decks just weren't the thing. And she knew this and she just said, look, we're not going to deck it. You're just going to have a little bit of a deck and you're going to use expensive wood. So it's going to look really, again, I emphasise the point, classy. So we were like, okay. So Briii sets to work on all this, the garden, and we're getting to know the neighbours by this time. The one on the right didn't, she was a young single mum. She didn't have much
from Ireland
to do with us. Yeah, she was busy. But the neighbour on the left he liked to chat, didn't he, Briii?
He used to work on the roads, like working for Fulton Hogan. If you're from, or the council, I think he was working for at the time.
And him and his wife, they were there, empty nesters, and they had lots of time on their hands. And he'd come and stand like this put his arms on the bench.
He was actually called Brian as well.
He was. Must be something about Brian's. And he'd come and stand and put his arms, and he'd be watching Brian slaving over the over the plans that Hillary had drawn for him, making this lovely classy garden, didn't he, Briii?
Yeah.
And I can't remember his accent because I can't remember. He had like a real. I want to do his accent, but I can't quite remember what it was. But it was
Bristol type.
Yeah, Bristol. Oh, that was it.
Bristol type accent.
Oh, you're doing a nice job there. That looks beautiful. That I think we'd be doing something like that. He said, I'd like to do something like this. So Brian was like, oh yeah, thinking nothing was ever going to come of it. Anyway, Brian makes this beautiful, you're brilliant at stuff like that. And you made it look so nice.
It was a great deck, wasn't it?
It was amazing. And we would go upstairs in the beautiful bedroom with a bay window and we'd look down onto Brian's handiwork and we'd be like, oh, look at what we've done. We've increased this property tenfold. This is a classy property now.
It's not a deck. No. It's a boardwalk.
And then one week, it was bank holiday in England. So we didn't work bank holiday. We said, no, let's take the whole weekend and bank holiday off.
I think we'd probably finished by then, nearly.
Yeah, it was looking beautiful. We were getting ready to sell it. We were like, oh, yeah, we're going to really make this look really good. Come back on the Tuesday to maybe dress the house a little bit. Go upstairs, look out of the beautiful window, across to Brian number 2's garden. And what had he done?
Well, he had just, I don't know.
He had covered his whole garden, and I mean whole garden, in this cheap looking...
It was pretty horrible, but he used to walk along it and you could see it bouncing. Because it was almost like, I don't know, he put like 2 joists to support it.
Not only that, so he'd spent 4 days building himself this cheap looking, and I don't mean to be horrible, but I'm being mean, but it's just, it was
the fence used to be here, didn't it? He would like look over and like, now it was down here, wasn't it, the fence?
He'd cut the fence lower.
No, the deck was that high.
Okay, is that what it was?
Yeah.
And it just looked like, what the hell is that? They'd put like this pink neon palm tree thing at the end, hadn't they?
Yeah, they had, yeah.
And it was just like, it was like looking out to like a mini Ibiza-y sort of,
a mini golf course. What do they call that? The crazy golf.
He put little gnomes around. Now, don't get me wrong. I know that can look really nice, but this was like, it was in an area where we were trying to bring the
bring it up. Not for someone who's lived there for the last 40 years. Like,
and it was so funny because we were like, should we go and, we can't do anything. We can't exactly go and say, can you take it all down?
It was terrible. You just don't go to that bedroom anymore.
No, and that was the selling point though, Briii.
It was, because it was just like a green garden before, and now it's fully decked and potted and trying to copy us basically what we've done.
Well, you should have taken that as a compliment, I think, because they say that when people copy you, it's because they think you're brill.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's what they were doing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was that story about our neighbours. And it was like that, you just think, oh, well, we've got to just, and we were so fake. We were like, oh, it looks really nice. Yeah, do you have to have the pink neon flashing thing
that go off at night?
Do you just, maybe just tone it down a little bit?
Someone coming around tomorrow to look at their place. Can you just turn that off or just put it back in the garage?
Anyway, all ended well because we sold the property in the end. And
He was a lovely guy.
He was a lovely guy.
Yeah, I used to get on really well with him.
You did, yeah. Maybe that was that's the trouble.
I know.
That is the trouble.
Just, like, don't say anything.
I know.
I know. Yeah.
I know. My mum says that all the time. She says, you know, my mum's theory. this is nice, isn't it? My mum's theory is, don't get too friendly with neighbours, because if you get too friendly, then they'll start doing things like that, like, you know, and take advantage. You just want to keep it at that level, don't you, Briii?
You do, but she doesn't really pay any attention to that because Kev just gets super friendly.
I know.
Yeah.
Anyway, what I was going to say to you, which was a very long-winded story, was that if you are interested in signing up if you want to know more about New Zealand, if you're moving to New Zealand and you want to know what life is like in New Zealand, we have put together it's absolutely free, 5-day video package to share with you. So you sign up and every day we send you a little video about some aspect of life in New Zealand, just sharing some stuff that we think is really unique and gorgeous about New Zealand. So you sign up for that, like I say, absolutely free by going to...
Are we doing NZ ahead?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry. nzahead.com/free.
Yeah, because it's free.
So nzahead/free.
Yeah, .com/free. We'll put the link and everything up there anyway.
Yes.
If you take those free 5-day video guides, on day 5, you will receive an email and it'll send you to a page where you can see all about this membership group that we talk about. That's all I'll say about it. It's absolutely brilliant, fabulous, very supportive group. It is designed purely for people who are wanting to move to New Zealand. So
yeah, and it's great because even sometimes if you've got a job and someone else has got a job, you know, we had one case where a healthcare worker working in Dunedin, someone coming over from Holland needed a similar job to that, and she was like, "Hey, there's an opening in our department,"
amazing.
And he got the job.
Yeah,
how cool is that? Like,
I
you know,
know.
it's just like things like that, and it's just having someone over here, you know, that's
if we'd have had this, what we've got, what we've created, if we'd have had that, it would have.
We've got a live
so
Zoom this Friday that we're doing. That basically is the differences when you've moved over here, the North and the South Island, because you know it's choosing a place where to live in New Zealand.
Yeah,
that's the thing, and these people are all over the place.
It's brilliant. It's really absolutely brilliant. You know, so that is that. Right. The next thing I wanted to talk about was freedom camping in New Zealand. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for those of you who are regulars and are with us every week, you will know, and who also listen to our audio podcasts, you will know that we've been needing to take some time off and just decompress.
Yeah, just some days out.
Just some days out.
Just connection with the ground again.
Yeah. Which we did last Sunday. We took ourselves off down to, it's a place called Fort St George, which is just down the coast a little bit in Taranaki. And we got down there nice and early, and this is like a strip of grass, isn't it, along the side of the beach? Yes,
it is. Yeah, all sort of maintained by the council and everything. You know, there's nice big flaxes around and stuff like that. So it's a gorgeous spot. You know. So.
And we took our camping chairs down there. We got up really early in the morning. It was like this is really early for us, 7:45.
Yeah.
And we got our stove and took some bacon and some bread, and we set up for the day down there with our tea and our, like I say, bacon sandwich, and I've got a new book that I'm reading. And anyway, so we set ourselves up, and alongside us was rows of, you know, campers.
Campers, you know, there's
freedom camping.
Caravans, there's just regular vans and things like that. But, you know, the majority of them have got the little self-contained sticker, haven't they?
Yeah. So to freedom camp in New Zealand, do you have to...
You've got to register your vehicle. And it gets a little blue sticker to say it's self-contained, and it's for a certain amount of time that, you know, it'll be reviewed again and stuff like that. But
sorry, Briii, go on. Sorry.
Well, go on.
No, I was just going to say, freedom camping is that you can camp for free.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
And it's kind of locally here in the New Plymouth area. It's policed by New Plymouth Council, so it's like a bit like a security company that come and check how long you've stayed there for. I think the maximum is 3 days or something like that, or 3 nights. Don't quote me on that, because this is just listening to the lady that we spoke to, wasn't it?
Yeah. And there's some beautiful, absolutely beautiful spots around New Zealand. We've been down the South Island freedom camping. Have never done it up here because obviously we live here, so we've always got something to say. But that Fort St George is just paradise. It's literally, you parked, you've got flaxes with tuis and the kingfishers and the sea, and it's blue and it's the black volcanic sand. It's just, you go down there and you just feel, oh, it's like going to a spa, isn't it?
Yeah.
A spa that smells of fish and chips.
Yeah, and even 50 metres up the road, there's a local farm that's got a little ice cream stall.
Yeah.
There. So, you know, people come down there, you can get afternoon ice cream.
Yeah.
You could do that in where we live. But
So we're all set up. We're down there now. It's like 9:15 and we're all down there. Bacon's up nicely frying. We've got our little chairs, me and Briii. I've got my book. Brii's got his Kindle, and we're just there for the day. And all of a sudden, we just hear this voice going, "Oi, get out of there." Don't we, Briii? And we're like, oh my God, there's some gossip going on. So we jumped up.
hello, get the ears out.
Yeah, we jumped up. And this woman, she's literally running towards these flaxes. And there's a lad coming out, or just about to walk into the, how embarrassing, with his toilet roll in his hand.
Yeah.
She was not happy. She wasn't having any of it. She said, "Get out of there now." She said, "This place is just for self-contained only."
Self-contained, and you know, but they didn't want to use obviously their own self-contained toilet.
Yeah.
You know.
Now, completely and utterly agree. Absolutely, she is 100% right.
Yeah.
People shouldn't be down there if they are not self-contained.
No.
But
Yeah.
Briii,
What?
it's another example, isn't it?
Yeah. But
These Kiwi women, they're not going to take it.
Yeah.
They don't mind running after thugs.
thugs.
Yeah.
Poo thugs.
Poo thugs, and say, anyway, what would he have done then? Imagine if he was dying for the loo.
He actually said, "No, I haven't." And she said, "Yes, you have. I saw you put it in your pocket."
Yeah.
You can't get a toilet roll, but he must have it wrapped up around his hands, like, you know, put it in his pocket. And she said, "I saw you put it in your pocket." "No, I haven't." Okay.
No, I haven't. Imagine that. Oh, poor lad.
But they shouldn't be doing it.
No,
you know?
I know, Briii, but he's dying for the loo.
Yeah, but the thing is like, you know, even when you're around
agree.
those places, if it hasn't rained for a bit, you can smell a little bit of wee, can't you?
I know.
Like, you know, it's like, yeah, you just can, and it's like, okay.
It was just one of those moments again. So I want to say to you, if you're watching this and you're like, "Oh, we've heard New Zealand is really clean and really beautiful, and there's no litter and no poo anywhere," you're right. There isn't. There isn't.
There's people like that saying you can't poo here. Yeah, I mean, that's bad. You don't go and poo out. You know, if you're in the wilderness somewhere, but this is a place where lots of people go, so you just don't. You're not in the wilderness, are you?
Have you ever pulled your car?
Pulled my pod.
Have you ever pulled your pants down at the side of the road and relieved yourself?
I had a wee at the side of the road. Yeah, but never had a poo at the side of the road. No.
Glad you said that.
30 minutes in and we're talking poo. It's great.
Oh, it's just that. And then she came back over to us, of course, because she could see us. And we were like, "Oh, what's going on?" Like, you know. She said, "It's disgusting." She said that you're not allowed to do that. That he shouldn't be down here. And I said, we were like, "Oh, you know." And then we tried to get some. We said, "How long are you allowed to stay here?" And she said, "You were allowed to stay here 3 days, and that's it."
Yeah, but if you all adhere to the plans, then you can freedom camp there. You know, next year, the year after that, the year after that. But otherwise, other than that, it'll be a stein, no camping.
Yeah.
Because people are, you know, they're not treating it right, are they?
No. It's just the way she did it. It was so funny. I remember once when me and Briii, back in the day when we just first started dating each other. Do you remember? We went to Blackpool in the back of your escort van.
Yes.
And we pulled up. Blackpool is England's answer to Vegas. It's just, you know, illuminations, big fairground. It's fantastic.
It makes Rotorua look silly. It makes it
look. It doesn't make it makes it.
Vegas, I should say.
Yeah, it's just a great place. And we went up there for a dirty weekend once when we very first met. And we're like, "Oh yeah, let's get in the back of your van."
Back in the plumbing van.
Back in your plumbing van. Yeah. Just tell my mum I'm just, you know, going off to see a friend or whatever. I was 18, and we parked in this car park. And I'll never forget it. I shouldn't really say this on YouTube, but I never forget. Do you remember? I'd gone and bought all that really nice like lingerie and stuff.
Yes,
I was only 18.
I'm not saying that. I was just like, I remember what happened.
And do you remember?
Yeah.
And we were in the back of the van and I was like, "Oh yeah, you know, I'm in the back of the plumber's van and I've got my nice nightie on and all of a sudden, bang, 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 bang on the door, wasn't it, Brian?
Yeah, but honestly, they were really nice. Those
Was
guys.
he?
Yes, he was.
I
Because
just
it was
remember being
about it was
mortified.
about 3 a.m, or something like that, and it was just like banging. He just like, and I had to get the window, lean over, wind the window down.
To a nice hotel.
Because we used to love camping.
I know, but Brian, you should have said, look, Liz, you're obviously a classy girl. Look, you've bought some nice underwear, nice negligee.
If I'd known you were bringing that, I would have gone to a hotel.
So yeah, that was funny because I don't know, I can't even remember what he just tell us to move.
He just said, "Oh, you got to move," but he was like wanted to check out. I just said,
Yeah, I
"Hey,
bet he
we're
was.
just driven up from Cornwall," because it had all the name of the company on the side of the van, like with the Southwest Heating and
Can I just
Plumbing.
have a look inside your van, please? Yeah, so that was funny.
Yeah. Anyway.
Right,
The
so
good old
that's
days,
it.
eh?
Yeah, before we go, we just wanted to, we were going to say about Wellington as well.
Oh, we
weren't
can do, but I think we should just save that for another one because it's getting on time.
Getting on time?
Yeah.
Save the Wellington for
the Wellington
another time?
stuff and trying to find a rental property flat for a young
Actually,
person.
we might save that for the audio podcast because that was an interesting story.
It is, yeah.
Listen, before we go, I just want to share with you something that someone shared with me here on this channel. His name is Gordy, Mr. G to me. I lovingly call him Mr. G. He's been a guest on our podcast before. We did a podcast about, I think it was called Kiwi Guys or something like that.
Typical Kiwi guy.
Yeah,
I think it was,
and he
something
came on a couple of years ago now, and we have become friends over, the duration of the time that we've been doing YouTube. So supportive, such a lovely guy.
Yeah.
And a couple of weeks ago, if you're a listener to the audio podcast, you will know that I am at the moment writing a book. And I sent the first draft of that book off to an editor. And that editor roasted me, gave me such a horrible feedback. And we made a podcast about it. You can go and listen to it. It's called A Ruthless Response. And it really rocked me, and I was talking about it on the podcast. Anyway, Gordy sent me this, and I've been wanting to share this with you for ages. He sent me a big long message saying about, look, don't you worry about it. You're okay. But the thing that stood out to me the most is he said, Liz, you're a storyteller, He said, and that's what you do, and that's what you must continue to do. And at the end of the email, he wrote this. He said, to be grounded in New Zealand, according to the Maori, you need to have a mountain, a river, and a sea. The mountain is your happy place, the river is fresh water, and the sea is your food. Your food, Liz, is storytelling. So take a wine or a coffee to the river. And then he's put in brackets the river, so the wine or the coffee is the river, onto the patio or onto your deck and look at the mountain, and this will cure you of all ills. And I can't tell you how much that meant to me to read that and to take that advice. And every time we go and be by the water or we're by the sea, it nourishes me so much. It just fills me with
it's energy,
this
isn't it? It's
energy.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to share that with you because it meant such a lot to me, and such a lovely guy, and such the I don't know what the word for it is, the Maori ways, proverbs, I don't know what the right word is, just the way that they live their life, they see life, and just have those beautiful sayings.
Yeah.
That it's just, and the way, I don't know, I'm mumbling.
It's gorgeous, and just that connection that they have. I always
with
remember when our friend Mahuta came over from the East Cape, and just when he got to the beach, just picking the sand out, rubbing it in his hands, and just like, get the water, putting it on him, and just feeling what it's like. And it's just that, wow, this came out the volcano, and he's like, wow, this is,
So if you are listening or watching this, Gordy, I want you to know, Mr. G, that I love you, and you just brought so much joy to me by giving me that. I've actually printed it out, and it's by my computer, and it's so important.
Yeah.
So it hit home so much.
And the last email that you sent to Liz, and thanks for the support on that one as well.
Yeah.
So that is it, ending with Kiwi kindness in all its glory.
Yes. It's a good place to finish.
Yes, it is,
Yeah.
right.
So as we always say, kia kaha, stay strong, and kia u, stay true. And that's true to yourself.
And thank you for being the people you are.
Yes.
Thank you for allowing us to be in this beautiful
it's
space.
part of your life.
Part of your life,
Yes, appreciate that.
So until next time, bye.
Thanks now. Bye.
We've been living in New Zealand 12 years, and although we consider ourselves local, we can't really say we're true Kiwi. But this guy that you're about to meet is.
What does it take to become a Kiwi? I mean, I know that's a huge question, but...
What is it?
Yeah, I want to be a Kiwi.
Well, what it takes...
You're going to meet Gordy. He's 5th generation Kiwi New Zealand, and he is here to give you some really good stories on what it takes to be a Kiwi in New Zealand.